Here is a real quick acknowledgement of the people that commented on my last video. Pamela B, she is a new subby. Welcome, Pamela. I really appreciate it. And everybody else that commented, thank you so much. Let's get started in today's video. Well, hello everyone, and thanks for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner. In today's video, I wanted to figure out some way to use this very, very fragile and thin paper. It is too fragile to go into a journal like it is. This is some 1912 French paper. I'm going to be starting a French journal really soon, and I wanted to use some of this. It's beautiful aged paper, but it's extremely fragile, like I said, and normally all I could do with it is collage with it and, you know, put it on little, you know, on pockets or tuck spots where you only need a small piece, but I want to do something else. So we're going to do a little experiment here. So first of all, I want to strengthen it. And so what I'm going to do is take 2 pages and glue them together, and that will help strengthen it, for one thing. How's everybody doing today? I hope well. I woke up really early this morning. I think I was up at 6 because it is finally cooling off here. I think when I woke up it was only like 75 degrees. Now in the daytime it will still get up to over 100 degrees, but at least in the mornings it's starting to cool off. And I needed to, there's definitely more oranges coming off of my orange tree that are from last year, and so I had to pick those up off the ground. So I've done quite a bit of glue here, and I'm just going to fold this over and glue that and give that a little bit more strength. Grab my and we want to let this dry before we do anything with it. Now to me, the 2 sheets still seem a little bit too fragile, so I'm going to add a 3rd sheet. So this paper is going to be 3 layers thick, but again, it's very fragile paper. It tears very easily. It's got a beautiful font though. It's, you know, it's all written in French. So let's just add a 3rd one on here. Somebody's car alarm is going off in the neighborhood. Must have been an accident, because this is a really, seems like a very safe neighborhood. Although I have an alarm on my home, just to be on the safe side. Okay, we're going to put this 3rd piece down now. Yeah, they turned the alarm off. They must have, you know, I've done that before. I pressed the button by accident. Okay, now we're going to let this one dry. Now my paper has dried with the glue stick, and you can tell by me touching it, it definitely feels a lot stronger. This is some gold acrylic paint and just water, and I'm going to do a few splatters on it just to give it a little bit of color. I don't want it like flinging all over my desk. I just want a tiny little bit of color on it. Just so it looks a little bit different and better, and yeah. Okay, so we're going to let that dry now. Now let's add a few white splatters on this. And again, I think this is just some gesso and water. And I'm going to take a little bit off because I don't want those big splatters like I had with the gold. Yeah, we'll just do a few of those. And then, oops, let that dry. And then I'm going to take some black also. I've got just some black acrylic paint here and water. But I'm going to let this dry because I don't want them to muddle up. Okay, I think the white is dried enough, so let's just put a tiny little bit of the black splatters here. Almost looks gray, maybe, oh shoot. They look almost gray. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But like I said, I don't want big splats of it. So I'm going to try to get a lot of that water or the paint off and just go slightly. Yeah, I think it's working out good. Then you can be a little bit more aggressive as more paint comes off. So I'm going to just leave that like that and let that dry and get that paint off, that black paint off my desk. Now that my paper has dried, I've taken a die cut set from Stampin' Up! Metal dies. It's similar to the ones you see that Tim Holtz has. And what I did is I put it through these dies and dyed some of these flowers, which will look really nice on our pages. And the other thing is we've got this little one here, which it came out. There's a couple of small tags. There's a butterfly one up here, and then there was a bigger butterfly one. Oh yeah, a bigger butterfly there. These are kind of goofy. I don't know what the heck they were thinking with these, because they are these little ones. I don't know what the heck you would do with them. But anyway, maybe they would come out as leaves. That's what I'll do. Then another die cut set I had is called Fancy Frames Dies. And so what I've done is I die cut this one out, and that's what it looks like. And then even this inside part, you'll be able to use that. So the next thing I want to do is add a little bit more color to my paper. This was paper that's left over from cutting those out, and so I'm going to spray a little bit more color onto this one, and I have this Nuvo Mica Mist spray. It's a really pretty green color. What's it called? Wild Olive. So let's spray a little bit of that on this paper and just get a little color, more color in there. It comes out quite dark and then it will lighten up. So we're going to let that dry and see what that looks like. So instead of having you guys watch me make all of the things, I thought I would just go ahead and make things and then let you know what I did with them, just to give you some ideas. So on one of the flowers, I added it on this page. Again, this is from Rachel at Roxy Creations French Chateau kit. And so I added the flowers here, a little bit of Florentine paper there, and then a bird image here, and then this was also a little butterfly that I had cut out of that same paper. So this is going to be a page in a signature. Then on this one, that's the outside of the page, and on the inside I took the image that I had die cut out of the Eiffel Tower and put it on this page, a little bit of washi tape, and then just stamped the word Paris there. On this image, I just ran some lace through it, glued it on both sides, and I thought I would put this in a corner of a page and then use it as a corner tuck spot. This is a little tag that I made with that paper. And all I did was put a Tim Holtz flower on it and just a tiny little piece of lace and backed it. On this one, I took a small little CD holder, and this is one of the oval pieces that I had cut out. I put a little stamped or die cut butterfly there, some Nuvo drops there, and then inside of the CD envelope, this is from Medieval Mirage, her French kit. And so that decorated that little CD envelope up. This was the one where I had die cut that frame out, and I just added it on a piece of paper, and then the bottom piece of paper here is some Florentine paper, and so I just glued it over the top of it so that that would give it a pretty little frame. So that is a journaling card. Here's a tag, and I had die cut this small piece here. I added a little floral piece there. Remember those little tiny little die cuts that I thought, I don't know what the heck to do with them. I put them there, but now I realize I'm going to set this aside because I'm going to put some Nuvo drops there. And then I just put an eyelet in the top with a little bit of fabric. So I'm going to set that aside so I don't forget to do that. Now this was one of the big pieces here, and I sewed around it and I added this very old piece of a book page to that. Let me show you one. I used to throw these away, and I learned from Rachel not to throw them away. Let me see if I can find one. Let me put you on hold for just a second. So this is some of the paper that I'm talking about. It's from an old book. It's very tattered and stained from age. I used to throw this away. I cannot believe I used to do that. But I learned from Rachel to use it, and look what a neat idea it makes on your journaling pages. So I laid this one that I had strengthened up, the French book page. I laid it on top of this old tattered paper, folded it up and over, and it was crinkly here, so I just kind of glued that down. I left those real raggedy edges. I sewed around it, and then I stenciled this. It looks like a fleur-de-lis with gold modeling paste, but isn't that make for a really cool journaling card? And then remember I told you I was going to put some Nouveau drops on here. I did. And just that tiny little bit just adds, just something else. They will dry, and then they will not add a lot of bulk to my journal. So I'm going to just set that over to the side to dry. This one is similar to the other one with the flower. I just attached this flower on here, added a tab, added a little bit more dimension here. On Rachel's tag, this piece of image goes all the way across, so I kind of cut it up with a piece of Florentine paper. This is some washi tape that I put on there and then flipped it around to the side. This is just an old piece of like school book paper that I backed it with, and then I sewed around it using both a zigzag stitch and a straight stitch. This one, again, it's got the page that I strengthened, the French page, and then I added one of Rachel's tags on top of it. So what you see is the outside of the page. I added Nouveau drops here, and then in the butterfly. This butterfly is both part of the French page, and then I also added a piece of vellum to the back so that you can see it gives it a lot of dimension. Sewed around it a couple of times. This was some fabric that I had that had butterflies on it, so I just attached it there. And I added a plain piece of paper on the back so that you can journal on that. So that's a pretty little tag. This was one of Rachel's, I believe it was an envelope, but I messed up when I was gluing it. It's supposed to be like this in an envelope. I can't remember exactly what I did, but I goofed it up. So I figured I would make it into a pocket. And what I'm going to do is attach it to a page with some washi tape. So what I will do is I will probably attach it here with washi tape there, so that when you flip it over, you'll be able to see this side, and then you'll be able to write here. So you could either do it on this side of the page or on this side, and you just run washi tape down one side, and then it comes, halfway, and then the washi tape comes on the other side, and then as you turn it, you're able to see that image. So what I did is I just added a little bit of fabric in the background here. I added one of the die cuts here, and then this was like a stained glass die cut that I added over the fabric, and then I made this journaling card to go in it. And again, it's got a little bit of the die cut flowers from the French paper. I added some Florentine paper in the back here. If you look real close at the butterfly, there's some glossy accents there. A little bit of washi tape down here. I sewed all the way around it and then added this fabric there. So it's a nice journaling tag that fits perfectly in there. This is from Medieval Mirages. This back one is her Feast of Florals. And then again, this is one of Rachel's envelopes from her French Chateau kit. I added a die cut here of that paper. Then for the string to go around, I punched out some little round disc, and then that is a little floral image of the French paper, and then I just tied this Italian thread that I got in Italy to hold it, and then I just added this very, very simple journaling card where it just has the word amor on the front of it. So anyway, that is my makes that I made using that very, very fragile book page. And so I hope you give it a try and are able to make some. And I hope you learned something from me today. And I thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks, and bye-bye.